Another episode of Chief in Politics, man. Chief in Politics. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump into some political stuff, man. Political topics and shit, man. That's what we're gonna do. All right. All right. So we're gonna start off with this one. All right. We're gonna start off with something light, something slight, something just to think about. Right. Cool. 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 This is how we're gonna do it.
Good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is on assignment. We begin this morning with growing concerns over the economic health of the U.S. government as the country's debt levels surge. On Wednesday, new figures by the Treasury Department revealed a costly new milestone for the national debt. For the first time, that number now tops $40 trillion. Perhaps just as troubling, the debt has more than doubled in a decade. For his part, President Trump is brushing off these concerns and touting his policies, including his tariffs. Those 50% levies he had threatened to put on some Canadian goods are still on hold until tomorrow as negotiators race to secure a new deal.
So it says Trump downplays economic concerns as the United States of America's national debt tops $40 trillion. Let's talk about that. $40 trillion. We ain't gonna take too long on this. $40 trillion that we are in debt, in national debt to the United States of America. This debt been going on for years and years and years and years, and you think Donald Trump is gonna fix it? You think Donald Trump is gonna get it fixed, get the national debt paid off? When it's already midterms in like 75 days? No. Donald Trump need to get on his stuff. You gotta get on his P's and Q's. Yeah. And keep it pushing, bro. Keep it pushing, bro. And do what he said he gonna do, bro. As the president, bro, of the United States of America. My personal opinion.
In a few moments, we will speak with Investopedia's editor-in-chief and chief business editor of People Inc., Caleb Silver, about what this means for you. Before that, let's get to NBC News Washington correspondent Alice Barr. Alice, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. And starting with the national debt, those new numbers are setting off alarm bells among many.
It says the new debt is setting off alarm bells for who? Donald Trump? I don't think Donald Trump cares. Let me tell you something about what's going on in America, right? As the president of the United States of America, he's rich already, right? He's wealthy. He's rich. He doesn't need to worry about the national debt. Why? Because it's not his place. He says it's his place to erase it. How is he going to erase it when it's been going on for years and years and years? This president, don't get me right, don't get me wrong, but this president is selfish. He lies to the people to get in positions that he need to get to for personal gain and personal missions.
Economists over what they could mean for consumer costs in the coming years and everything from credit cards to mortgages, all as we close in on midterm elections where the economy is front and center.
Oil.
The American economy hit with a painful headline. Total U.S. debt now topping $40 trillion for the first.
Yo, $40 trillion, right? $40 trillion.
Time, according to the Treasury Department. That number more than doubling over.
Why is people working? How is the system still continuing to go? How is it still flourishing? How is it still revolving? How is it still turning? Because they're printing money out of paper. They're putting on paper numbers that don't exist on paper, on currency. Okay, let's say the insurance companies, right? I get a car with insurance on it. It breaks. They replace it because of the insurance policy. Okay, so where's the money at now for that insurance? I have a one iPhone for iPhone 16 and it breaks and I have insurance on it. They give me another iPhone, brand new. What happens to that money that's supposed to pay for that iPhone? Just because the insurance paid it? No, insurance is just a paper. Insurance is just a paper. It's a written down agreement after you spend your money. So that's creating Ghost money. From nothing. How?
For the past decade, with
They type
President
it up and they
Biden
print
and
it.
President Trump in his first term, each adding about $8 trillion in new debt, much of that borrowing for pandemic response.
The last two presidents added $8 trillion each. Each. The people in America need money, bro. The people in America need financial help, bro. Not everybody do, right? But some people do, right? Okay, cool. He cut the food stamps service down to what? 3 months. It used to be 6 months. Now, if you need to reapply for food stamps, you need to show some type of financial gain, financial winnings, income, source of income, in order for them to continue to help you. While they're raising up the $1 trillion mark, trillions and trillions and trillions to the nation's debt created by this president and all the presidents, while they continue to send money to other countries for aid. What about us? What about the people and the citizens, the society inside the United States of America? Why aren't they benefiting from that? Why aren't we benefiting from that?
The White House in a statement saying it's focused on slashing waste, fraud, and abuse in federal spending while accelerating economic growth, promising lower inflation and pushing for an interest rate cut to lower costs, something President Trump called for Wednesday while downplaying economic concerns.
I think we have a very powerful country, and we're powering through these ridiculous interest rates.
All as the president is threatening crushing economic warfare against Iran and unprecedented isolation, saying any country that does anything to help Iran evade sanctions will face tremendous economic consequences. That while hitting pause until midnight Friday on a punishing 50% tariff against Canadian goods, excluding.
What's the whole point of putting tariffs on countries if you're not doing anything to take the debt off, the national debt? How are you gonna pay that? How are you collecting all this money and on terrorists and raising up the fees to other countries when you're not just doing what needs to be done for the people of the United States of America? When are we gonna stop looking out? Why won't we start looking out to other countries for the need to be a superhero, a police? They need to get focused on the United States, bro. The United States grounds and everything, bro. They need to help the people out, bro. They should send another stimulus. Donald Trump did it one time. He should do it again. Drop another stimulus. The people need it. The country needs it. The people need it, bro. For real. You want to put more money into the economy? Print out more paper. Print out checks. So you can just keep dumping the money in there. Dumping the money in there. If there's 100 people with $1,000 each, that's 100,000. Now let's say 80 million people. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that can subverge and boost the economy of the United States of America.
Oil, gas, and critical minerals. President Trump now saying the U.S. is close to reaching a new trade deal with Canada.
I delayed it at the request of Canada for 3
cigarette.
days so we can iron out the details. But it's going to be a wonderful deal, hopefully a wonderful deal for everybody.
Canadian negotiators say they're finalizing the deal's text.
I am very confident in these discussions.
As President Trump leans into economic leverage against friends and foes. And shifting back to the national debt, which, by the way, just ticks higher by the moment, here's the problem for consumers. The kind of deficit spending lawmakers keep approving for decades, which has made the debt balloon, can also lead to even more inflation, piling on the challenges as the government works to get rising prices under control. Joe?
Alice, we know Republicans have often used the...
They're working hard to get gas prices and spending down? How? You just can't. You can't. You've been promising the same thing for the last year. A whole year. You've been in presidency for a whole year. Doing what? Getting yourself richer and richer and richer, bro. Getting the people richer and richer and richer. That's all it is.
National debt to just attack Democratic plans and policies, but we've seen them approve some pretty hefty spending bills during President Trump's second term. How are these tensions playing out?
Yeah, the biggest example of this term is what President Trump called the big beautiful bill, the tax cuts and added spending on the military and immigration enforcement. It was partially paid for through Medicaid cuts, but the nonpartisan Congress.
Okay, so they're taking away Medicaid cuts to pay for what? Army? ICE? Police? What's going on, Donald Trump? Like, how is the debt rising and you're still continuing to take money from like here and there and then there and here to fund something else? It don't make no sense, bro.
National Budget Office still projects it's going to add $3.4 trillion to the national debt. There are deficit hawks within the GOP who initially raised objections, but ultimately voted for it overwhelmingly. There's some new reporting from our colleagues Sahil Kapoor and Rob Weil highlighting that despite Republicans' long-held insistence on this point, debt reduction is nowhere on the agenda right now. We're in the middle of a costly war. The Pentagon.
Same thing I talked about earlier. They're not worried about that of the United States of America. They're not. They don't. They don't care. They're not gonna live another 50 years. Then people just worried about getting ahead, putting plays in motion, getting money in certain pockets of personal gain. This is not for the country gain. And the country is not gaining nothing. So.
God is asking for more money, and it's just not looking likely to summon the political will to go against President Trump's agenda for the sake of prioritizing the debt, even if it puts Republicans who run on lower government spending in a tight spot heading into the midterms.
All right, Alice Barr in Washington, thank you. Let's continue this conversation now with Caleb Silver. It seems like debt reduction is never really on the agenda these days. Help us understand how we got to this point of the debt more than doubling in a decade, hitting now this $40 trillion mark.
We're big spenders, and we've been spending as a government excessively for the last decade, but really for the last 50 to 100 years. But it really was that COVID response that added some.
The United States turned into a consumer paradise. A paradise for consumptions. The people that live here are consumers. Most of them are. It's a consumption country.
$8 to $9 trillion on top of the debt. Plus, we are fighting a war right now, and that's costly. That's costing even more money on a daily basis. Plus, you also have those tax cuts, and that takes revenue away from the Treasury, from the government. So all those things are continuing to add to this mounting debt. 40 trillion is a massive number, and it's a symbolic number. We don't feel it as Americans on a daily basis, like we don't pay that money, but we kind of do pay that money with higher interest rates.
Yeah, help us understand, if we don't feel it every day, why does it matter so much? How does it affect the everyday consumer and the economy?
Well, just look at Treasury bond yields, and we've seen Treasury bond yields, especially for long-term Treasuries. This is the debt the U.S. government issues so we can pay our bills, and we get governments like the Bank of China and the Bank of Japan to buy it from us. Well, those yields have been rising up until yesterday. So higher yields means higher interest rates. That means higher interest rates for your mortgage payments. That means higher interest rates for car payments, credit card APRs. Money becomes more expensive, and now we're really approaching this 100% of GDP at the $40 trillion national debt level. If all the money we made in this country as individuals and businesses was put together, we could not pay down this bill.
So the Treasury Department says it's increasing the size of its government debt repurchases by at least double. What does that mean, and what would that actually accomplish?
Yeah, well, that's what we call yield curve control, and that is not a salon treatment you get to fix your hair. That is literally buying long-term Treasury bonds to bring down the yield, to make those bonds more attractive to those that buy our debt. And usually you see that in times of crisis. Saw that coming out of the pandemic. You've seen that back in 1999, 2000. It's not normal, a normal part of government function. You do see it in banks like the Bank of Japan, and Australia does this all the time. It's artificially bringing down yields by spending.
Artificially bringing down yields. What does artificially mean? It means artificial. It's not real. It's fake. Not real. It's fake. So it's they artificially bringing it down the yield, right? You said this is BBC News? No, I'm not watching BBC News. I'm watching NBC News.
Even more money. So that $40 trillion number keeps going up because now we're buying our own debt. We're issuing it and we're buying it.
So we're issuing debt and then we're buying the debt, like other countries are.
This is probably not. It's artificially bringing down yields by
Artificially bringing down the yield. Artificial means not real, bro. It's
spending
artificial,
even more
something
money.
they
So that $40
created.
trillion number keeps going up because now we're buying our own debt. We're issuing it and we're buying it. This is probably not the way Alexander Hamilton drew it up when he thought about issuing debt to help pay our
They're
bills.
not gonna
Guessing
fix
that.
it.
Also, that doesn't sound like a good spot treatment either.
Nah, bro, I'm on NBC News, bro.
Let's shift gears here real quick and
This
talk about
morning,
Canada.
top
These
headlines.
talks are continuing. So far, we've averted seeing these 50% tariffs levied on them. What type of deal are we looking at here? Walk us through what's going on.
Well, the reporting, and we haven't had the full details of the deal, but the reporting so far, it looks like we'll get some reduction of those steep tariffs.
And Mr. Yo-Yo, bro, we're not gonna pay it. When are they gonna pay off the debt? They never gonna pay off that debt, bro. Never. They said they're gonna double the debt and then get a better yield.
On aluminum and steel and auto parts, going from about 50% to 25%. The top line auto tariffs could come down to 15% from 25%. We get a lot of autos made in Canada, sold in the United States.
Hey, bro, they need to help the American people. Send out more stimulus checks. We didn't see the United States help out other countries for the last year. When is the people of the United States gonna get a helping hand?
Right over that Windsor Bridge in Ontario there. So that's part of it. And also there's negotiations about what was discussed and what was agreed to in the USMCA. That's the trade agreement between Canada and Mexico and the United States that President Trump put into place. First time around, we could see a lowering of tariffs there. So you're going to see a relaxation of some of those prices. That's good news for manufacturers. Could be good news for consumers, especially when
Yeah, bro, you're definitely right. It's mostly military that Trump's just gonna leave 60 trillion by the time he leaves. I mean, these people don't care, bro. These people don't care how much the debt goes up. I mean, by the time he leaves office, he's gonna be at 60 trillion debt, like you say. They don't care about the debt, bro. They don't care. They just worried about getting ahead. They've been ahead for years. They're rich already, filthy rich. Nobody at the presidency gonna live another 50 years, another 60 years. They're not worried about the future. They're worried about what they got going on right now. As a selfish girlfriend.
look at softwood lumber,
Yes,
when
they
you're looking
involve
at
the country
aluminum,
as a
we need those
whole
to build houses and to build factories.
because of
Right now,
the
those
role they
prices
took,
are-
right? But
Caleb
it's like
Silver, good to have
it's
you with
also
us.
a
Thank you so
personal
much.
gain.
From the debt at home to the threat abroad, President Trump is now threatening a, quote, economic D-Day against Iran, as Alice reported a moment ago. The president announced the U.S. will launch what he calls the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. This new pressure campaign comes as talks are deadlocked to end the war and to reopen that vital Strait of Hormuz. NBC News political reporter Megan Brand joins us now from Washington with more on that. So, Megan, what could this economic pressure campaign actually look like?
I can't wait for work until I find my phone. Now I just clap and
There's a lot of things the president wants to do. They want to keep the Strait of Hormuz. They want to own that.
Hey, Joe, good morning.
Yeah,
So,
war with
quite
Iran.
frankly, there are still a lot of questions about what this could actually look like in practice. But he had made this announcement.
I just feel like
in
if
a
they're gonna be,
Truth Social post
if they're gonna
where
be
he had
making
said that any country that allows its financial
fund cuts
institutions,
to
businesses, airports, or
institutions like food stamps, somebody that needs food stamps, or restrictions on stuff like that to fund other stuff like administrations like ICE and the military. They're just taking money from one program and putting it in the next one. Or either taking it out these programs and then sending them out to different countries. Or funding wars. I just don't understand, bro. Like, Trump needs to eventually look out for the people of his country and do something for the people. We've been watching him do a lot of things for different countries. Fix a lot of problems that ain't really ours. But he's there to fix them.
Government entities to provide any type of lifeline to Iran will itself face tremendous economic consequences. He went on to say, it all needs to stop. Now you know who you are. And so while he had threatened those tremendous economic consequences in that post, he didn't detail what those tremendous economic consequences could ultimately be. And so that's a big question moving forward about what that would ultimately look like if he does ultimately follow through on this. But one country to keep an eye on if he does follow through on this is China. And that's because China is a key trading partner of Iran, but also a very key trading partner for the U.S. So how exactly that shakes out is to be determined, Joe.
We'll have to see what happens there. Let's stick with foreign relations. President Trump did confirm to reporters he plans to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un this year.
He's definitely right, buddy. Bro, you hit the nail on the head, bro, for real.
We remember that happened during his first term.
You are
Break down
correct.
the context around this unusual move this time around.
Yeah, so it's a very unusual move for all presidents except for President Trump, because President Trump had previously met with Kim Jong-un 3 times, actually, through 2018 and 2019 during his first term. But this is significant because this also comes after earlier this week, President Trump had called for the U.S. to downsize those joint military exercises with South Korea, a key U.S. ally, moving forward. And so part of his rationale for doing that, for wanting to downsize those military exercises, is what he referred to as his very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, Joe.
Let's talk about some domestic news here. President Trump says he's going to nominate his White House aide, Dr. Heidi Overton, as the FDA commissioner. Currently, she briefs the president on various health issues.
I mean, bro, look at him, bro. He over there. Did you hear about what he did today? Yesterday? Anyway, earlier in the live stream, I had one little section on the news, right? And he was talking about how he put all this money into the ballroom, right? He's putting all this money into the ballroom, and the taxpayers like us barely basically gonna pay for that. So you're gonna use taxpayers' money to finish the ballroom, and he's also creating and building a helicopter pad right across from that ballroom. The rich keep getting richer. Financial gain is at its most high. Crypto, they're highly benefiting from crypto. They're the one that created a lot of money recently. I mean, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin jumped from what, 62,000, 64,000 past week to like 72,000. That's a 10,000 jump.
Then lead the agency as it deals with these cyclospora outbreaks in several states. She's going to need Senate confirmation. That might be tough. I mean, what are some of the early reaction this pick is getting from senators, including some Republicans?
Yeah, so before she even goes to the full Senate for a confirmation vote, she would need to pass out of this key Senate committee, and that committee is chaired by Senator Bill Cassidy. He's a Republican from Louisiana. He's also not facing re-election this fall, and he's already expressed some concerns about her nomination. So he said this in a post to X, where he wrote that he had strong concerns about her nomination, and one thing that he pointed to was her role in President Trump's vaccine executive order last week. He said that this calls into question her commitment to standing up.
Kamala Harris. I haven't been hearing much about Kamala Harris like that. Is she running again for this upcoming term? I believe you she did though. Who's she gonna run with though? Hillary Clinton? What a disaster that would have been, right? Maybe. She's hinting at trying. Hmm. I mean, I wouldn't blame her. I mean, any anybody should, not anybody, but any person that has been through elections should, I guess, try to be elected again. What do I think about her? I don't know. Is it too early to have a woman president? Was it too late? Should we continue to have male presidents? I mean, look what Hillary Clinton said. Is that her name, Hillary Clinton? Am I wrong or right? I'm right. Hillary Clinton, though. Remember, she was baffling and blurring stuff out, talking about how she gonna give up all the secrets to Area 51 if she was elected. Kamala Harris. She was there for Joe Biden for sure. But I feel like Kamala Harris was like I would say she's a good vice president. Is it time for her to become a president? Become the first woman president? I don't think it'd be right. Right. She can take any routes. You are correct, brother. That's just how I feel about Kamala Harris. I just always like imagine her like as the best vice president ever, right? Because of Joe, right? Joe Biden. I mean, at the end of this term, he got weak in his knees and a lot of medical issues. Was doing a lot of wear on him. She took over that role for the remaining role that Biden had before the people thought, well, we all seen he just wasn't capable of continuing the role of the president. Like physical capacity, I'm saying, like not mental capacity. Maybe I'm not gonna say what he did or what he did right or wrong in his during his run, but shout out to him.
For sound science and protecting children's health, that alone is almost disqualifying.
$40 trillion? Sheesh. I mean, but look at the billionaires. Look how many billionaires and trillionaires are in the world. $40 trillion. You don't think a couple of trillionaires and billionaires could pay that off? Like, hold on, give me a second. Let's say the richest people on the richest people, bro. Because there's rich people, bro. Billionaires, trillionaires. Why don't they just pay it off? Nobody wants to pay that. The whole country don't want to pay that.
And at the same time, Joe, it seems unlikely that she's going to get support from Democrats. We also heard yesterday from Senator Patty Murray, a Democrat, who had said that she is going to vote no on that nomination. She's also part of that key Senate committee. She wrote, the American people deserve someone who will put science and facts first, not another Trump sycophant who will make it their mission to attack medication, abortion. I will vote no. And she really has no margin for error here. That's because Republicans have just a one-seat majority on that key committee. And so if someone like Senator Cassidy decides that they're not going to support Overton, then that could effectively, potentially take her nomination before it even reaches the Senate floor, Joe.
Right. Megan Brand, let's cover this morning. Thank you so much. An investigation is underway into a deadly helicopter crash in Kenya that killed 7 people. Those on board were traveling between safari locations, among them 5 American tourists, including a veteran executive from the NBC Universal and Telemundo family. NBC's George Solis has the story.
Alrighty guys, this is the before, and this is our customer system after. These new all-flat.
What do you guys think about that though? Like the crashes and stuff. How all these planes just keep on crashing, colliding with each other, with all the space in the air. Yeah, man, trillions of dollars. I don't know. I mean, can Donald Trump pay it off? Will he pay it off? I doubt it. Didn't he say that one time? Don't correct me, I might be wrong. Most likely I'm wrong.
Including 5 Americans.
But Kenya, man,
New video
the
showing
crash.
the search and recovery operation alongside charred debris in the mountainous terrain. Here, you can see the tail rotor warped from the crash, and these images from the Kenya Red Cross. Smoke rising from the crash site, and part of the helicopter wreckage visible on the ground. Among the Americans killed, Jose Suarez, a Telemundo executive who led stations in Orlando, Tampa, and Fort Myers. Also on board, prominent South Florida restaurateur Roger Duarte, Ecuadorian intelligence official Michele Sensei Kondugi and his wife Stephanie, and married South Florida couple Henry Parra and Adam Levate, who love to travel, their friends tell him.
He said the crazy homeless guy. Bro, you remember when they had like 2020, before 2020? I mean 2012, my bad. Before 2012, they had dropped that movie talking about how the world was going to end, bro. I remember everybody was scared too. I think Obama was president.
ABC News. The aircraft went down around 9:13 local time near Mount Ololokwe in Samburu County. A pilot and all 6 passengers killed. Kenyan authorities say it was flying between 2 safari conservancies when it crashed. What is your first assessment of what you've seen so far?
Well, the investigators are going to look at the debris field. I think they'll look at the weather. I think they will look at any work.
I don't understand how the aviation of planes and helicopters is failing in modern times of America. Planes keep crashing and colliding with other planes, and helicopters is malfunctioning and crashing with each other. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, look at the time. We're 2026. You think that should be happening? Aviation, flight aviation, air aviation be at its peak. I don't know what's going on with them. There's been a lot of airplane crashes this whole year. A whole bunch of them, bro. For no reason. You got all that space in the air. And y'all crashing with each other, colliding. That don't make no damn sense.
Mechanical work that had been done on the helicopter. I think they will look at the pilot's training.
The terrain is making the recovery effort difficult, with an active fire also reported at the crash site. Colleagues remembering Suarez, a more than 20-year veteran of NBC Universal News Group. Chairman Cesar Conde saying in a statement, "We are heartbroken by Suarez's death," adding he was an exceptional colleague who cared deeply about his teams.
Our thanks to George Solis for that report. This morning it comes.
And then a very important person from Telemundo and stuff, man.
Combination of stifling heat and summer storms is continuing to grip the nation. Today, another day of dangerous heat will stretch from the southwest to the Gulf Coast. 83 million people Theater heat alerts, bracing for temperatures that could once again reach triple digits. And the summer of relentless storms is threatening millions more today. Flood watches will extend from parts of the mid-Atlantic into the New York metro area. Our Priscilla Thompson is once again following it all for us from Houston. Priscilla, good morning. Let's start with this scorching heat wave. You know it well. You showed it.
Yo, if you guys are outside, bro, y'all gotta drink some water, bro. Wherever y'all at, stay hydrated, bro, because it be hot. And if you're in a different side of the country, man, stay safe, for real. There's a lot of things going on.
Yesterday,
storm
how that football team is managing to stay
just
cool
going
by
on,
practicing early.
definitely
What
not-
else are officials doing?
Not something to take lightly, you know. Stay prepared and stay looking at the news for the guidelines to clean up weather, bro. 'Cause weather does make a big factor,
To keep kids safe as they head back to school.
the biggest factor.
Yeah, Joe, that is exactly what it is. It is minimizing the time outdoors, so holding those practices before sunrise, even for the younger kids who might be going out for recess. Instead of doing 30 or 45 minutes, they may only do 10 or 15 minutes outside.
Look at these comments, they're talking about
into
the
the
national
gym for the
debt.
rest of their recess. So those are some of the things. And the other thing
It's
that
the
these
nas-
schools are grappling with is these aging HVAC systems. We saw one school in Georgia that actually had to send kids to the classroom virtually because their HVAC system was overwhelmed in this heat. And we've heard from parents in Louisiana raising concerns about those unair conditioned school buses, just saying that, you know, experts have said that sometimes it can be hotter in.
What's going on with the money though? To CCSD, it's like y'all got so much money. Why aren't they fixing the AC units in the buses and in the schools and stuff, bro?
Those buses, even with the windows down, than it is outside. So a lot of things to watch for as kids are back in school and this heat just keeps, the temperature just keeps going up. Joe?
Yeah, wow, that is a long ride to school if you don't have AC in those heat conditions there. What are some tips that just all of us can use to try and better protect ourselves from the heat as we head to
Stay
these final
hydrated.
weeks of summer?
Umbrella.
Yeah, so I talked to the Houston Fire Department about this, and they say that a lot of the calls that they're getting are for heat exhaustion and specifically dehydration. So reminding people, especially those who are outside a lot, construction workers, to make sure that you're staying hydrated, which is a good message for everyone, and also to really try to minimize that time outdoors. He really emphasized that this is a days-long heat wave, and sometimes we don't realize the impact that this is having over a longer period of time, especially if you're not getting enough water and you're spending a lot of time outdoors. And for the kids, I will say, experts say, send them to school in breathable, loose clothing. We know the older kids like to wear the hoodies. Save that for the fall. And also, if you can, send them with a water bottle so that they can refill it and remember that hydration throughout the day. Joe?
Some good advice. Definitely not hoodie weather right now, Priscilla. We also mentioned the severe storms could create some floods in the eastern part of the country. Walk us through what we can expect from yet another round of heavy rain.
Don't spend money fixing broken appliances. Do this instead. For only $29.99 a month, I got a home warranty.
So yeah, long story short,
Yeah, so that I-95 corridor is going to be the place to watch today. It could impact the commute later on today as we're expecting some heavy storms from Connecticut to Virginia. We could see high winds in the mid-Atlantic and also a really heavy rain in the Northeast. So gotta watch out for that. And Joe, I just want to tell you, we were on a high school campus yesterday and I saw multiple students in sweatshirts walking into school. So it is a thing.
Wow.
Joe?
All right, Priscilla Thompson, appreciate it. Continue to stay cool. Thanks for your reporting. We'll get some more details now on how the heat and the rain are going to play out today with your morning news now weather. Angie, I feel like if I put a hoodie or a sweatshirt on, it would just be permanently stuck to me. I don't know if I'd even be able to get it off.
The only place I need a hoodie is in this studio right here.
Yeah, it is.
Otherwise, you take one step outside, no thanks, Joe.
It is well air conditioned.
It is well air conditioned. We're staying cool in here, and I think that's, you know, you just heard Priscilla say, that's the advice again for
It
today.
ain't
No
gonna true,
surprise,
like,
we've still got more than 80 million people under these heat alerts. I know I sound like a broken record. It's all the same spots. A little nicer, kind of more refreshing conditions centered across parts of the Great Lakes and the Northeast for now, but across the southern tier of the country, the Southeast especially, we are just scorching. 106 for Dallas today will feel like 108, 109 for the feels like in Memphis tomorrow. More of the same. Montgomery feels like 104. Columbia feels like 105.
Yeah.
And even as we get into the weekend and next week, we are still quite steamy. We're going to see those high 90s to triple digits for the actual temperatures. And then, of course, you add in all of that humidity that's coming into this area. And Baton Rouge expects to feel like 108 on Saturday, 107 on Sunday,
It's different,
and
dog.
105 on Monday. And that's kind of
It's
the story,
different than
especially if you're across parts of Texas,
you know,
Louisiana,
12 to
Oklahoma.
12.
Raleigh, on the other hand, into
Good
the
movie though.
high
Good movie for sure. Yeah,
80s to low
definitely good
90s
movie.
for what
It's,
it'll feel like through the weekend and beyond.
it's like a
Big
steak,
picture
bro.
look for the rain. This
Like
is
a
finally on the
big
move.
steak,
We've got a
bro.
couple of spots that we're going to watch
The
for some
world
stronger
ending stuff.
storms as we get into the afternoon hours and into the late evening. Notice the upper Midwest, Minneapolis,
Hey, y'all
stretching
seen
down
what that was, man? We're talking about the debt, national debt. We definitely talking about some crashes that shouldn't have been going on. Why? Because aviation flight should be at its maximum peak. This is what we want to take from today. Aviation should be at its peak, right? 100%. So after aviation's at 100%, there ain't gonna be no more plane crashing, planes colliding. Ain't gonna be no more helicopters falling off the sky. I would feel it, and I would know that they would be more organized or something like that, right? With the aviation on point, especially with the 2026 we're in, they should definitely get that settled and handled to the maximum capacity of technology for flight. National debt is at 40 trillion. Donald Trump said he was gonna fix that. Is he gonna fix that? How is he gonna fix that? I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. The Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is still in conflict. Iran, bro. Iran is still in conflict with the United States of America. We're gonna see how that plays out also. What else was on the news today? Basically, it was. All it was. What do you guys think about that? I don't know, man. I don't think it's something to really put too much thought into it, because the national debt is going to continue to rise no matter how, where, or how long it takes to fix it. It might not ever fix it. I don't know. Anyway, they did double down and say that by the time the term of his term ends, he's gonna raise that debt a little bit higher. So once he raises that debt a little bit higher, it's just gonna keep on raising. Gonna keep on raising. Alright, so that's just one episode, man, of politics, man, and chief in politics. We're gonna leave this right here and see what you guys think about this. Because honestly, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, man. Stay safe, man. Just don't visit states that are going through stuff like the storms and shit. You guys remember the storms and stuff, right? Don't go to a place where they got storms and stuff. So avoid cities like that. Avoid anything that may affect the vacation or the weather. Don't leave the country, stay safe. You know, if you leave the country, man, there's a lot of conflicts in different countries. There's a lot going on right now in the life of Earth. I'm just gonna say that, the life of Earth. You feel me? Chief in politics, man. That's what it was. That's what it is. Next time I get the chance, here's some more stuff about what's going on in the world. Hop back on here and continue to do the chief in politics. I'm good.